Hello people, hope you are doing all great. Today I'm going to talk about Java in front of you. I'm going to do a discussion and you can consider to be a demo session on Java. And it gives me a very big pleasure to talk about Java because Java is a fantastic thing and there are a lot of things you can do with it and probably the possibilities are endless. All right. So I want to thank TechStories for giving me this opportunity to speak about Java in front of you guys. So I'll keep it simple, short, and crisp. I'll talk about certain number of things over here. First and foremost, I'll just make a kind of a the list of things I'm going to talk about. So just allow me a second. Let me take out the Paint, and this is a fantastic thing, to write down things on Paint. Let me go here. Let me talk about certain things. So today's objectives are very simple and very crisp and sharp. You can understand it very easily. Number one is that I'm going to talk about that why, right? The why factor. Why do you need to learn about Java, right? So what is the main reason that you should be actually willing to learn Java? Okay. Once you learn that, once you understand that, then I'm going to take you to the point. We're going to talk about that what are you going to needing from the perspective of the current let's say the market and the job scenario things, right? Because it's pretty obvious that in case you're attending this seminar and, or let's say for example, in case you're trying to go for thinking of taking a Java course somewhere, then you're pretty much worrying about a job. I'm pretty sure about it. So now in case the job is the requirement, you need to understand that what right now in the market is in demand. Okay, you need to understand that. So what right now in the market is in demand, and then number three that comes into picture is that how do you make yourself fit for the market? Okay, now it might look very obvious, let's say if I talk about the point number two and the point number three, that okay, they might look very similar to each other, but no, there is a little difference. Okay, point number two is going to talk about what all things are in demand in market from the perspective of Java, right? So you need to understand this is about Java. Okay, and at the same, and but point number three is telling that what you need to do, what is there for you to do in order for making yourself fit for the market, right? So that's kind of a different thing. That the second one is more for from the marketing perspective, and the third one is actually about you. Okay, it is about you, what you need to do to get into the into the picture. That's more or less it. That's more I'm going to talk about, and it is going to be completely on a professional perspective. Okay, it is not that you are a hobbyist, you just want to learn Java and probably not want to do something with it, then fine, you can still stick to this one. But in case you're actually trying to do something with Java, then you need this particular thing. All right. Okay, so let us try to kind of take the first point, that is why do you need to learn Java? Well, first of all, that Java is a programming language and it is also called the mother of all programming languages. I mean, in earlier days, people used to say this thing for C programming. Okay, they used to call it the mother of all programming languages. But nowadays, the thing has changed, and Java happens to be the mother of all programming languages. Okay, and that is quite rightly told, because honestly in Java you have a lot of things that you can do, and probably the languages that you find out apart from Java, let's say Python, you find out C sharp, you find out there are a lot of them, Ruby and all these things. So these guys can do a lot of stuffs, but probably all of them, they do not have this kind of versatility that you can find out in Java. Okay, so the versatility is very high, extremely, I must admit that. So here, when we are talking about this Java as a mother of all programming languages, we need to definitely point out some points that is supporting this statement, right? So let us talk about it. The number one thing is versatility, as I told you, right? The number two, so versatility means it can do more different kind of things compared to any other language. Like it can we can work on, let's say for example, we can work on a desktop application, right? We can probably work on a web application, right? We can work on, let's say, Android applications, right? So there are a huge number of things you can really do with this. That is one thing, versatility. The second thing that comes into picture is basically mother of all programming languages, because it was the start of the modern era of programming when we started talking about object oriented programming, or in short people call it OOPS. Okay, I do not really understand why they put this S behind it, but anyways, it is called the OOPS, object oriented programming concepts. All right, so this object oriented programming was kind of a game changer, you can say. I'm going to talk about a little bit of that also going forward, but anyways, so object oriented programming was a game changer, and that was done by Java. So you can see a mother means something from where the things originate, isn't it? So Java is the place from where it originated, this all this object oriented concepts and all these XYZ stuffs that are basically making the current programming language things. All right, so now that you know about that versatility is there, you know about that object-oriented programming language is there, and therefore we're going to call it the mother of all programming languages. Very good. But what am I going to do about it? What is the demand, right? What is the market demand? Well, but before hitting that point, let us try to just stick to another particular point about this particular, sorry, I just getting a call. So yeah, we need to stick to another particular thing. We need to understand another particular thing apart from this right now the market demand thing, in the point of why do you need to learn Java. That point is that if you learn Java, now remember this thing, okay, do not forget this for your lifetime. If you learn Java, you can learn all other programming languages that are there in the world. And I do not think that I'm doing a mistake by stating this. If you learn Java, you can learn all other programming languages that is there in the entire world. So that means all the other programming languages that you have, all these things are, you can say, kind of think in this way, that these are kind of a subset of the activities that you can do with Java, right? So what do you do with Python? What do you do with, let's say, C#? You can do everything with Java. So once you know Java, and also the syntactical things, the it is a strongly typed languages, so there are a lot of things about it. So that makes it a little difficult to grasp Java in some cases, provided, I mean, it can be very easy if you know how to go forward, if you have a very guided tour kind of a thing. But otherwise it becomes a little difficult, oftentimes that you really cannot make too much things on Java unless you know what you're doing, right? So Java is something that teaches you how to think about algorithms. Java is something that teaches you that how you can make a combination of writing, let's say, a lot of code at the same point of time thinking about algorithms, to kind of, it expands your brain cells. It's a really what should I say, it is really where you learn to code. Okay, you really learn to code with Java. That we say this, right, that I have to learn to code. Now if you really want to learn to code, then nothing can be better than Java. All right, that's the best part about it. So that's the reason, guys, that in case you're planning to stick to the software engineering, the software development fields and all those things, you need to know Java. There is absolutely no other way that you can achieve that thing that you can do with Java. All right, so I guess the first point is clear, right? Do you have any questions? Yeah, okay, I got a lot of chat messages over, you can see. Let me quickly go through them. Okay, majority of you guys, thank you so much. That was a nice message, Rahul. And yeah, all right, great. So you have a nice question over here. What is your name? Siddharth. So Siddharth has got a very nice question in the chat, and he's asking that if I want to learn Java, do I need any prior experience of any other language? Well, the question is very good, and the answer is yes and no. Let me tell you why. Everybody listen to this. So Siddharth has a very nice question. Do you need some prior experience in any other language if you want to learn Java? The answer is yes and no. For this purpose, I told you is that let us say, for example, you want to learn Java very fast. Okay, let us say you say that, well, can you teach me Java in probably, let's say, just 1 month of time? No, I honestly don't think you can do that if you already don't have a background of some other programming language. And when I say other, I mean probably C or C++. In case you do not know that, can you learn Java? Absolutely you can. You absolutely can. In fact, if I give you a scenario, give you a statistics. A majority of the people who are learning Java in the US regions, the American people, the American community, majority of them do not know anything about C. or C++. Probably they just know that this kind of a language used to exist, and they kind of make fun of it. Oh, there's C, where there's a, there was a B also, or maybe a D, E, F. What happened to them? They make this kind of funs to it because they never really try to learn that, and that is perfectly fine. You do not need to learn C in order to learn Java, but if you know C, it helps. So if you know C or C++, that's an additional advantage. If you do not know that, there is absolutely no problem. You can learn Java from scratch, and you can be really better than some programmers who already knew C. Okay, you can do better than them just by learning Java. Okay, and that is because, why it happens, because you got the OOPS, right, the object oriented. Now this was not there in C, it was there in C++, but in C it was not there. So someone coming from C to Java, the only thing they get is like little bit of familiarity while writing the data types and the variables. That's probably all, nothing else, or maybe the concept of functions a little bit. But the majority of the game-changing part, that is the OOPS concept, that is there in Java. So that got initiated with Java. So definitely you are not going to lose anything by not knowing any programming language earlier, okay, before you try to learn Java. So Siddharth, I think that answers your question. Can you just write down, give me a thumbs up in the chat, please? Thank you so much. That was thank you. Okay, all right, fine, great. So I think we can move on to the next part that talks about that right now what is there in the demand in the market about Java. Well, now see, when I talk about the market, now you definitely have seen this thing that the market is more moving towards the web applications, right? We more and more work on web applications. In case you are not sure about what is the difference between a standard application and a web application, let me give you an idea about it. So let's say I'm using Microsoft Paint over here. Okay, now Microsoft Paint, the application I'm using, that is installed on my Windows laptop. All right, this is installed on my Windows laptop. When something is installed on your local laptop, or let's say your local desktop or phone or somewhere, you that is natively there, you call it a standard application. All right, that means if I let's say forget my laptop at one place and I go to some other place and I try to find out, well, I want to open up my Paint file that I had prepared at the first place, right? So in the second place I cannot find it because that was in that laptop. Now I'm sitting on a different laptop. Definitely I do not have the images that I had on my first laptop. I don't have those pictures here. So that's an irritating thing. But if I talk about a web application is never installed in that sense on your laptop. It is actually installed on a bigger computer, which we typically choose to call a server. It is installed there and it is kept at some other location. So all you do is that no matter which device you are on, you can be on a phone, you can be on your, let's say, laptop, you can be on a desktop, you can be on a friend's laptop, you can have your mom's laptop, anything, and all you need to do is that just get connected to that big computer, that big server where actually the application is installed, and you can see all your data. Example can be, let's say, Gmail, right? So you have got a Gmail app installed on your phone. You probably access Gmail through your laptop, or maybe you go to a cyber cafe, you use it over there. You do it through your desktops. I don't think people nowadays go to cyber cafes, but in case you do, right? So you can use any sort of a device, and through that what you can do is that you can actually go and you can try to access the data, correct? So this kind of thing, if you're trying to do, that is a web application, because see, you see the same email from your phone, you see the same email from your laptop. That is because the Gmail software you have not installed on your laptop in that sense, in a true sense. Maybe on your phone you have installed, but that is not the Gmail actual software. It is just the Gmail client app. Okay, so the idea is like this. So there is a, let's say, server is the bigger machine, right? And it is called a server and the client. Okay, so these are the clients. So this can be a mobile phone, this, let's say, is your laptop, for example, okay, or a desktop or something. So now this is, let's say, the Gmail server. That means the Gmail application, the Gmail software has been installed over here. Okay, and all you do is that from your phone you get connected to the internet, and that internet takes you to this server. Also your laptop gets connected to the Wi-Fi or LAN cable, and you ultimately come up to this Gmail server. So that means from your phone also and from your laptop also, you are talking to the same Gmail server, and therefore you are seeing the same emails, right? Getting the point? So this one is your the web application architecture, right? This is your web application architecture. This is how it goes on. All right, this is how it goes on. So the market is moving towards web applications. So that means when you're trying to right now get into the market, you are talking about the market demands. You're talking about the demands on the web application part using Java. All right. So when we try to build a web application using Java, that falls under the category of Java EE. Also, people call it J2EE, right? So that is also a very famous name. I think you might have heard about it. This E and E at the end, they stand for Enterprise Edition. Okay, Enterprise Edition. That's what they stand for. So J2EE, it is the web application version of Java. So when you want to make a web application, you need to use J2EE. But however, before you can understand J2EE, there is a little bit prerequisite of this, and that is Java SE. Okay, which is obviously the standard edition. I mean, that's what this thing means. Okay, Java standard edition, J2EE is the enterprise edition. So when you want to go into the market as a let's say web application developer, okay, then you basically need to know about Java EE. But in order for you to know Java EE, you need to know Java SE first. Okay. Sometimes we call Java SE. I mean, that's not an official terminology, but sometimes we call Java SE as core Java. Okay, and J2EE as an advanced Java. Okay, so now obviously the market demands you to know J2EE. That means it is expecting you to know Java SE. I think you can get it by this point of time. So in J2EE, now there are a lot of things. The first thing that J2EE starts with is known as the servlet concept. Okay, it is called the servlet concept. However, if you want to be fit in the market, just the servlet concept alone might not be suitable for you. It may, but it may not also. Okay, considering the latest demands, latest trends. So there is the framework in Java that you need to learn if you want to get into the market. That is called the Spring. Okay, there are two things actually. One is called Spring, one is called Spring Boot. But once again, just like you need to know Java SE to understand J2EE, similarly, in order for you to understand Spring or Spring Boot, you need to understand servlets first. Okay, so that is kind of the prerequisite, you can say. So that means if we are talking about the market demand, we are talking about Spring Boot or we are talking about Spring. Okay, these are the things that you are going to talk about when you're talking about market demand. So what are Spring and Spring Boot? These stuffs are actually frameworks. Okay, these things are actually frameworks that are now what is a framework? A framework means you can think in this way that a lot of pre-written stuffs are already there. A lot of pre-written stuffs are already there, but it is not exactly like a library. I would not say that. It is kind of a way in which you structurize your programming. Okay, so when you write down a Java program, you can structurize it in any way, right? So you can follow us. Maybe I have worked in multiple industries. I've seen this thing in multiple domains, in multiple projects. People project to project, people tend to change the structure that they're following, right? So kind of to bring the things into a kind of a little bit similar structure, these frameworks come into picture, Spring and Spring Boot. So if a developer, let's say, is working on a particular project and he was working as a Spring Boot developer, he goes to a separate project. There also people are using for Spring Boot. So it is easier for this guy to migrate from here to there, and he can also understand the project with a little less effort than he would have required to put in case it was completely on a different structure going on, right? So that is where these things come into picture, the frameworks. But however, before you learn the frameworks, you must understand servlets. Therefore J2EE, therefore Java SE. Okay, and that takes me to the point number 3, that what makes you fit for the market. Do we have any questions? Can I just get some questions in the chat? Let me just check it out quickly. Okay, Raj. Okay, fine. Okay, there's the Yashwant. Yashwant has a very good question over here. Yashwant is asking that can we get a job as a fresher if we do not know Spring and Spring Boot? The answer is yes, you can. You absolutely can get a job as a fresher if you do not know Spring and Spring Boot. It is very much possible. But see, the demand is very high in Spring and Spring Boot. It doesn't mean that there is no demand in without Spring and Spring Boot. Okay, even though in fact if you see, the highest demand goes in Spring Boot, then comes Spring. So Spring Boot is currently in the top in the top ranking position, right? So obviously you got opportunities to explore if you want to, and there are probably tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of companies in India. So if you're talking about India itself, you definitely stand a chance to very easily get a job. Maybe you'll find a little difficulty in probably in the first couple of interviews, but you start going over there, you kind of build the experience. But I come to that point in point number three. Okay, I'll talk about this in point number three. But here, just understand that, yeah, if you're talking about the market demand, yes, we can still, very easily manage without knowing Spring and Spring Boot. However, I will suggest that in case you are taking the effort to reach till let's the servlet concepts, you actually take a little effort extra and learn Spring. And in case you are very much interested, go to Spring Boot, because honestly, Spring Boot just gives you all the opportunities that you are looking for. Okay, it just opens up all the doors for you when you learn Spring Boot. So maybe Spring Boot can be a very thing that you are looking for. Okay, so just see how you want to go for it. I guess I answered your question, Yashwan. Just drop a yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I have another question from Rajiv, and Rajiv is asking that what all things you need to know in Java SE. Okay, fine. I'll come to that point. I'll absolutely come to that point in question number 3. That what all things you need to know in Java SE and what all things you need to know in Java EE. Okay. Okay. Then there is Himesh, and Himesh says that what are the points to focus? Once again, the same question that will be answered in question number 3. Right. So, fine. Great, thank you so much, guys. I really, I must say that I really appreciate the way you are involving with this session. Thank you so much. So, oh, we got a huge count over here. That's great. All right, so let us continue with the question number 3 and the very last question of today's day. That is, how do you make yourself fit for the market? How do you become fit for the market? Okay, it is about you. Well, let's answer this question in this way that. First of all, if you let's understand what we mean by the fit for market. Okay, what is fit for market? Fit for market basically means what the market demands, you supply that to the market, so you become fit. Like someone is looking for somebody who can, let's say for example, sing nicely. So if you're a singer, you go for there and you're a fit, right? If you're a dancer, you do not fit over there. So it's just like that. What is being looked for? Can you supply that with your skills? If you can, then that's great. If you cannot, then you need to make yourself a little better, okay, a better suitable for the market, because you can understand that, see, when you're in a technological domain, you constantly need to revamp, you constantly need to kind of, groom yourself to be in a position where you can really, really break the stuffs. Okay, so that is really okay. By breaking, I do not mean that breaking the code. By breaking, I mean to say that whenever they find out that you cannot enter somewhere, just break the door, break the walls and enter there. Okay, so if you just want to capture something, you want to just do a wonderful impression in interviews and all those things, you need to know stuff. I mean, that's the #1 mandate. Without knowing the things, you cannot do anything. That's true, always. So, how do you make yourself fit for the market? Number 1, the things that you need is you need a wonderful communication. Trust me on this. Okay, you need a wonderful communication. That is number 1. Priority number 2 is your knowledge. Understand that when you have a knowledge, which you definitely need to have, but it really is dependent upon this thing, that how much you can actually express yourself and talk about the things that you say that you know, and you write about those things in your resume. How do you express those things? By speaking and by actually portraying in front of the customer, right? So in front of your interviewer, right? So that is actually very important, right? So communication stands in point number 1 actually. Point number 2 is knowledge. So when you have a good communication, now the knowledge base has to be there. Otherwise, from where will you supply the things that you're going to talk about, right? To supply the, to showcase that you actually know that, you need to have the knowledge. Okay, but I'll still put knowledge in point number 2 because currently that is what is going on. I mean the people who have been gotten into job, let's say 15 years ago, they might not agree with this because that was a different time, that point of time. But right now, communication number 1, knowledge number 2. Okay. Then the third thing that comes into picture is basically the body language. Okay. I'm purely talking from the interview perspective, okay? So when you go for an interview, this is what you need, okay? This is your interview perspective. So you need to have a very positive body language. You have a nice communication. By the way, don't worry about these things. I keep on talking about this in our real session. So in case you're planning to join me, then you gotta find out these things also over there. But now I'll just put a little stress on the knowledge part over here, because obviously you're going to talk about Java, so you need to understand the kind of knowledge you need. Let us try to talk about these things over here a little bit, the knowledge part. Oh, that was very bad. Okay, so when you're talking about this knowledge thing over here, now understand the first thing that you need to know when you're talking about Java is Java SE, the standard edition of Java. I told you already, standard edition is the first thing that you know, and then the enterprise edition. So from the Java perspective, okay, in the Java, all right, so the things that you need to know in the AC part at least, that is, you need to know in and out of oops. I mean, there is just no compromise that you can do over there, okay? You need to know the in and out of oops, object-oriented programming concept. You absolutely need to know that. The second thing that you need to know about, let's say, in Java is basically you need to be very good in the collection framework. Okay. You have to be extremely strong into the loops and the conditionals. All right. You have to be extremely strong in this. It is absolutely mandate. Okay. Talking about Java AC. So I'll just write them maybe just a little below so that they can come over here and search it. Yeah. So here you have it, right? So oops, collection frameworks, loops, conditionals. These are the four things that you need to know. By the way, when I say oops, I mean everything, okay? Inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation, all the concepts. Dynamic polymorphism, static polymorphism, okay, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, what is supported in Java, what is not supported in Java, all these things. And oh, another thing I forgot, that is your interfaces. Okay, you need to have the knowledge about interfaces. So these are the things that you're trying to master when you're talking about the Java SE part. All right. Once you have done this, then you basically end up coming into the Java EE, and I already wrote about Java EE. What you need to know, you need to have these servlet concepts along with the Spring Boot if you are planning to go for that one. So this is the Java part. Now, do I think that if you just know Java, it makes you fit for the market? Well, unfortunately, no. I mean, yeah, probably, but there are better ways of making yourself fit for the market. Okay, in the knowledge part I'm talking about, that is, it is always good to learn a little bit about some front-end technology. Okay, what are front-end technologies? Like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, these things. Now what will it do? Okay, let us try to understand that if I'm trying to be an application developer, why do I need to learn about front-end? Because back-end application development, honestly, I mean, why front-end? Well, understand this thing. If you're trying to make an application for a web, okay, if you're trying to go for a web application, your application is going to have a interface as well. Interface in the sense something that the people look into, because people need to look into a website. They cannot directly look into an application. There has to be a website which is, no matter which technology it is using Angular, it is using React, but at the end of the day, it is using HTML, CSS, JS within itself, right? In some form or the other. Okay. So it's always good to have an idea about it. And also, because I talked about Angular and React, if possible, you should also try to gain a little bit of hands-on on Angular and React. I mean, it will really broaden the scope for you. Because when you're doing that, Angular or React, you do not need to do everything, but maybe some part of it or something. So when you are doing this, then what you're making yourself prepared for is you're making yourself a complete full stack developer. And a full stack developer is a person who can work on the, let's say, the front end part as well as the back end part as well. That means he can work on the applications also. He can work on the front end application as well, the website as well. So that means, now understand that whenever there is a web application building requirement that is coming to a company, there is a project, they need people who can make the front end, who can make the back end. But if you somehow yourself become a person who can work on all, then you can understand that you are probably the rightmost fit that they can find out. So you become very suitable, you become a very fit candidate for their candidature over there, right? So I'd really suggest you that in case you're planning to learn Java, you should choose to learn a little bit of front-end languages as well. Okay, you can stick to Java AC J2EE. By the way, do not forget J2EE is also required. I didn't write it over here, okay, because I wrote it already. So do not forget that. It is just Java AC specific topics I mentioned. Okay, J2EE is absolutely, it has to be there. I'll just write it down so that there is no misunderstanding. Okay, Java EE, that is also required. All right. So this thing will completely make you a person who kind of knows everything kind of a stuff, right? So this is going to really enhance the possibilities that you're going to find out. All right. So think about this, and try to also learn some front-end languages. Do not stick to just backend, because backend is fantastic. I understand it. I have been into that domain for more than 13 years now. But when you try to learn some front-end technologies, you will really start understanding the integration of the backend and the front end. Well, oh, needless to say, you need to know about databases as well, at least a little bit of SQL queries. So that is also something a part of it. So, do you have any questions, guys, before I conclude? Okay. Hitesh says all good. Okay, that's really nice. Prachi says everything is fine. Thank you, Prachi, so much. Oh, Mahesh says it was a very okay. You found it knowledgeable. That's really great. Thank you so much, Mahesh. And okay, all right. So this is feeling really nice. Okay, there is a person with the name. Sorry, I think I cannot read your name. Is Shwan? Is it Shwan? Okay. So Shwan is asking for that when he can. How he can contact me and I can get learn. Okay, see, Shwan, all you need to do is that you can get in touch with the TechStories people, because I am with them. All right, so you can just talk to them and you can try to probably get enrolled into a course or something in case you're looking for this, and we can have a lot of fun together in coding and all those things. Oh, thank you so much, Adam. I think you enjoyed it. Okay. Jackson, fine, great. Thank you so much, guys. It was a really overwhelming response from you. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure you have understood a lot of things, right? So, I guess this video is getting recorded. So, in case you receive, if you happen to receive a recorded session of this one, you can just, kind of re-watch it in case you missed something or something, right? So I understand online you might have missed something, maybe because of our internet or something, but you can rewatch it anyways. In fact, all the sessions that you find out that will happen in our courses also will be recorded and will be shared with you. So don't worry about it at all, right? So you just need to talk to your representative. That's it. Mm, fine. So I'll just give a concluding thought, guys, over here. So once again, I'll just kind of summarize everything. So Java, you understood it is a mother of programming languages. You need to really get into the depth of it, and you're going to really find it out real juicy and really enjoying. You have Java AC and J2EE for the market demand. You need to get into J2EE, and the latest thing that is working in the market is Spring Boot, followed by Spring, and followed by servlet concept. So you need to at least take yourself to the servlet concept minimum. Better if you can take yourself to the Spring, and it will be marvelous if you can take yourself to Spring Boot. And apart from that, I also told you that you can learn about I gave you the topics of Java AC that are important: the oops concepts, the collections, the loops, conditionals, and the interfaces. I talked about, oh, I forgot about threads, man. Okay, that's a pity that I forgot about it. There's something called threads. That is also very important. Okay, multi-threading, honestly, multi-threading. Okay, that is something you have over here. Just don't ignore this. And then we talked about the front-end languages: HTML, CSS, JS, a mandate to learn if you really want to get into the FSD kind of a stuff, full stack development kind of a stuff, which is much more better in the demand in the market compared to only Java. Angular and React.js something that you can probably wish to pick up in case you feel that they are going to help you out or something, because in the demand perspective it is there. And I also talked about how you're going to do a little bit of communication betterment and a little bit of positive body language, a positive outlook. If you can keep, then that is going to really help you out in your interview clearing parts, right? We shall be having a lot of discussions on these things, guys. Thank you so much for sticking till the end. We're going to meet in our actual classes, so you can just get back to representatives and you can find out the dates when the batches are starting, and you can just go ahead with that, right? Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.